bang again. So, to everybody who was watching the VOD, hello, how are we doing? As always, the first few minutes of a live stream is used, or is something that nobody really sees. But it's used, whatever the word I'm trying to say there is, of me basically getting the stream ready. Very choppy first 30 seconds, but that's okay. Next time nobody will see this. But yeah, it's nice to have something online. Right, so I can do that one. I need that one. Standard application of the stuff in the description. One of the monetization doohickeys as well. Oh yes, I need to turn the volume off. So change that to that one, then that one. There we go. And up there. Put that one into there. Into the live streams. Check. Do I need that one? So monetization. Activate monetization. Check. Let's experiment a bit. I always do the Discord ping in my server. I wonder if I do, well, not so much ping, but if I make a notice in other servers, I wonder if that will potentially draw a couple more people in. Well, there's only one way to find out. Check. Okay, lovely. Right, it's time for the Discord ping. Let's get some proper folks in. At everyone, live now. I need that one. And there are 224 people in the Discord server. Ever growing. Lovely. And you may have noticed the thumbnail for the live streams have changed. Yes, I thought I'd give that an update. I'll talk about that more in just a moment. Let's just do this one here. Hello, RK. Very good of you to join me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's just see. Yeah, let's just stay with those two servers. Like, Jolt King is very generous with self-promotion. Hello, Josh. Good to see you again. And you'll have to remind me to have a chat with you again after this, because you messaged me literally. It was almost midnight when you messaged me last night. I was just in no state to stay up and chat, which was a bit of a shame. So once we're done here, we can have a proper chat if you want. Right, so that's all done. That's all been pinged. That's all good there. Right. Oh, this should be an interesting stream. Nice to sit down and chat again. The last few streams were me sat down on the floor over there doing some building. That's good. Thank you, Josh. Oh, and I've got an even bigger bottle of the good stuff. Hang on, let me grab the previous size bottle just to give you an understanding of the upgrade that has taken place. It's kind of a forced upgrade because, okay, I'll explain now. There we go. Not that big a difference, but this is definitely a wider bottle. It's yeah, a little bit taller as well. This one is 900 ml. This is 1.5 liters. So I've had to go ahead and buy a couple of them because this is £1.50. This is £1.75. 25 more pence, I get half a litre. May as well do that. It's all costing more money, which is the ultimate downside to it. But maybe one day it'll get expensive enough to convince me to not buy any more of these. That's okay, though. It's the good stuff after all. Ugh. Yay. What? I'd try it if it wasn't UK only. Yeah, it's not a bad drink, to be honest. I mean, I've drunk this for the longest bloody time. So, for the life of me, I don't know how long I've been drinking this. Not as consistently as I have been for the last, I don't know, year or two. But this is, instead of having a like a bottle of water, I've got this. I mean, I'm still fine, so to say. I mean, it's not the worst thing. It's not like Coke or anything. It's not crazy with sugar, I suppose. Well, it's definitely got lots of sugar in it. I don't doubt that, but it's not. It's not rotting me from the inside out, so to say. So, yeah. Yeah. So one thing I said just a moment ago, you may have noticed all of the live streams have been given an updated thumbnail. I thought that it was time that it had a bit of a different look. Mainly because it was, I don't know, what was it? Well, I changed this soon after the previous live stream. I thought to myself, the kind of shade of, yeah, it's definitely a darker shade of red. That was one of the main things I did. And this, what was it? I said something to myself that convinced me to do this. But ultimately, I'm happy with the new thumbnail design anyway. But I think it's the usage of the space. The yellow lines going diagonally was interesting, something a bit different to look at. But I think the way that all the text on the thumbnail is being displayed is a bit more better. There it is, that's number one. But yeah, previously where you had the kind of diagonal line, which kind of split the thumbnail in half, so to say, you got some of the text that said, chatting and hanging out, etc. That's a bit out of the way. With this new thumbnail, I think it looks much nicer because it's all right there. You can see what's going to be happening. And yeah, it's all a good time all the same. As I was putting the live stream together, I realized I haven't made a YouTube short in a while. The last one I made was when was the last one? Talks Trains. Hello, thank you very much for tuning in. The last YouTube short I made was January 4th, but the one previous to that was November 20th. Oh, that's not that long ago. Yeah, that's actually, not too bad. There's definitely a time where I made a couple of shorts back to back. I do need to make some more shorts because it's a nice little fun thing to make. Fun fact, Mountain Dew has a disease named after it. It's called Mountain Dew mouth, which is severe tooth and gum decay. Ooh. I've never drunk Mountain Dew before, and thanks to that information, I will never drink Mountain Dew because of it. I'll tell you what though, this isn't like when you think of, I suppose, with Mountain Dew and like Pepsi and that sort of thing, this has never really been bad for my teeth. I mean, I do have stereotypical, British bucktooth, sort of mater teeth. But the last number of, seriously, for the last number of years, I've gone to a dentist appointment. It's always been the same 5-minute checkup. Dentist has always said, yeah, you're fine. And I've been drinking like one of these, I'll go through this in like 2-3 days. And yet my teeth are completely fine. I'm keeping up, brushing. I'm pretty good with hygiene, so yeah, that's not gonna do any damage. Ugh. And already, my apologies. Oh, sorry about that. Question: do you plan to build any hit era characters like Murdoch, Molly, Billy, Neville, Hector, Rose, Stanley, etc.? Stanley is on the build list. Rosie would be interesting, but not really. Molly would be nice to do one day. Neville, I kind of technically built. I've built a Q1 in the past, not necessarily Neville himself. But I don't really want to build these characters unless I can get a face for them, or if they've got a really standout livery. So Stanley, again, it's mainly like white, silver, and red. That's a nice combination of colors. So Stanley's on the build list mainly because of that. If I can find a good toy to rip the face off of, that's a bonus. It would be interesting to rebuild a Q1 to make Neville, but again, I don't know if I would want to. I mean, I think at that point, I don't really care for having any more real engines. I'm pretty much sorted for that. So I think I would make a Q1 realistic. Well, there's two ways I can go about this. I can make an 8. Well, I'll probably be 8 wide Neville anyways, with all the extra details and whatever else. But getting a face for it or not is a different thing altogether. Well, again, it would be good to get a face for these characters, but I just don't know how easy. Like again, Murdoch and Molly and Neville, something a bit more obscure because they only showed up for 1 or 2 episodes. We also need Hank, more USA representation. Well, I don't really build. The closest thing I build to American stuff nowadays are the Giants. American railroads had big engines. I've got my Giants, and that's pretty much as close as it's gonna get. But yeah, I mean, there are characters again. Let's have a look at my to build list because it is all still there. Oh yeah, I can get rid of that thing now. Delete row, check. So Daisy, Fergus, Arthur, Stanley, Harvey, Mavis, Annie, and Clarabelle. I need to get on with those two eventually because I've got Thomas, Annie and Clarabelle, a powered version specifically. Eventually I'll get on with that. I'm not sure about Stanley to be honest. Just looking at my notes. Yeah, I mean there's loads of characters I could do still. I mean there are in that list there. Neville will be cool. Molly would be a fun one to do. Rosie again will be interesting. Ryan is another character that will be interesting. But yeah, there's just loads, and in time I probably will eventually get around to all of these. But I want to make sure I've got faces. I care more so about having a face for the model than making the model itself because that's my main inspiration to kind of make those models in the first place. The only two exceptions are Spencer and no, it's Spencer and Salty. Salty turned out to be a really cool looking diesel anyway, so I was fine with that, and it kind of made it a bit more realistic on purpose. And Spencer was made to be realistic to begin with. I didn't go out of my way to look for Spencer toys, and I think if like any sort of research for Spencer toys that I did do, it was specific. It's fine. I'm not going to get a face that matches that scale, anyways. Union Pacific fan, hello, thank you very much for tuning in. Also, did you know that Charles in Choo Choo Charles has a similar boiler to Percy? Does he? It's been a while since I've seen anything Choo Choo Charles related. But it's a small tank engine, so good enough. Just minutes ago, I got Lego set 42105. What set is that? Oh, the Technic glider. What do you call it? Catamaran, floating boat. Ooh, not bad, not bad at all. That looks quite nice. It is Technic though, so yeah. Sailboat basically. Yeah, fair enough. But to motor run Annie in the battery box and Clarabelle. Yes, the idea of using Annie and Clarabelle to hold both motor units. I don't know how, because the original idea I had in mind is to have not an actual train motor, but just use normal train wheels and have cogs and gears connect to like a small or a medium, well, not a medium, like a medium or large, ideally a large motor because that's got a good amount of power for how big it is. Having to find one in the first place is probably going to be a bit of an issue, but at the same time I can get around that. But also at the same time I'm trying not to spend money and that's not really working. Anyways, it is possible to line it up into, well, depending on how the walls are built, that's my only real fear. I want it to be as hollow as possible in order for me to sit the motor inside one coach and the battery box in the other. So it's definitely possible to have it all kind of connected together. And the idea is definitely there to make it all work. I just need to make sure that when the panel, the sides, the walls, and the windows are all being built, there's enough space for me to put all the internal details needed into the coach, or coaches, I should say. So yeah, definitely need some time to think on that. And evidently, I am still thinking on it because I haven't built them yet. It'd definitely be good to dig through my orange box though, because I've got a good, like a fair amount of orange parts. My dad found it at a store for $3. The set is 50. Wow, fair enough. I'm guessing it was like a charity shop or something. And yeah, I mean that's well, even then I'm supposing it's at least 80%, like 90% complete. $3. Fair enough. Sorry if I'm bothering you with all the questions. Not at all. Keep the questions coming. Do you plan to build Stepney? I nearly did, but the thing is, on Block Junction, there are instructions to build a terrier, and it's made by fellow LUK art, well, fellow club member. There's the, wearing the club fleece today, by a fellow club member Trace, and he has made the best looking terrier ever. I would be interested in trying to make my own terrier, but first of all, the color I would need to make Stepney is like nougat, something like that, light nougat, something like that. So I'd have to buy those colors in. It's like, oh, I don't really want to have to do that. I'm purposefully trying not to spend too much on hobby stuff at the moment. So I could probably make a mock-up version in like in all black or something. And I think I could definitely come up with a decent shaped terrier. But having seen his one in person as well at the members weekend a couple of months ago, I think I'd rather just buy the instructions to make his. Honestly, it's so good. So yeah, I'd have to look into getting, because well, I think there's an unpowered version, but the default normal version, or at least that Tracer's made, has a circuit cube in it. So getting a circuit cube and the tiny motors for it would definitely be a good thing to look into as well. So I think that would be an all-in-one package. Bevel gears attached with axles. Yeah, pretty much that. That's the idea. I've got all the gear, like I've got all the pieces necessary. It's just getting on with it, that's all. Only downside is it has dust and might be missing some parts, but I'll have plenty of Lego pieces. First of all, Lego, not Legos. There is no S in Lego. Oh, there we go. There's a debate to get on with. It's not pronounced Legos. But you have some parts to replace. That's good. It's like mostly complete. Again, you can brush off the dust really easily. But yeah, you got a big set for like $3. That's good. Lego bricks, yes. Another question: do you plan to have any tank engines on the Triton Lego Railway? Yes, that's a good reminder. Thank you for telling me, for asking me that. Brick Toy Trains, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. I need to actually write this down because it's a reminder. So I do want to make a Great Western Railway 5700. There we go. I want to make a pannier tank because I think that's become my favorite. Like my model of duck is potentially one of my favorite, or if not the best. How do I put this? So, of all the Thomas characters I've built, there's a couple that really do stand out above the others. So, Duck is again up there, probably the best tank engine I've ever built, and the pannier tank shape in turn has become really like it's grown on me a lot. Spencer, of course, is up there. Donald and Douglas is up there, and there's a couple of other models that have really come to be in such a really good way. But in terms of tank engines, my model of Duck is the best. And I want to try an 8 wide version of a pannier tank. So my model of Duck is 7 wide. I want to try an 8 wide version. So in time, yes, I do want to build a tank engine for my railway, and it will be a 5700. And it will be in red with yellow lining. I do want to experiment with some of the kind of lining details on it, to kind of make my own livery, if that makes sense. So yeah, it would be cool to give that a go. Oh, here we go. Here's all of the Lego versus Legos. This is a duck. Hello, good to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm looking forward to seeing tank engines on the Triton Lego Railway. Yes, in time. For now, though, I've got... What have I actually got? I've got Smoky Joe, which is a Caledonian 264 class pug. I've got eventually the pannier tank, which would be cool. What do I actually have? Let me have a look through my playlist. Let me look at my Real Trains playlist, because I'll remind myself what I do actually have. On a railway that's dominated by tender engines and giants, things like tank engines rather, they do get left behind. Where is it? There it is. To scroll all the way to the bottom because that's where all the new ones are. Oh, I saw that. Sorry, just going through the... Is that actually? Well, this playlist needs updating. It's a good thing I saw this too. Is it updates? What? Yeah, it's okay. Right, let me. Sorry, I need to quickly update. Remove from playlist. Remove from playlist. Remove. Remove. And remove. Right, let's try that again, shall we? So, tank engines. What do I actually have? I've got Smoky Joe, like I mentioned. Well, the E2 got turned into a model of Thomas, so I can't quite carry that. Oh, I remember I had the BT Well tank. That was good. So, Smoky Joe is the only tank engine I've got at the moment. Well, non-Thomas tank engine, I should say. I could definitely make the point of all of my Thomas characters who are tank engines being TLR tank engines as well, because, why not? But yeah, a pannier tank would be good. Which of the tank engines would you like to have in the fleet in your railway next to the pannier? Um, that's not a bad question. I don't know. Well, I think I'm gonna have to cheat that answer and say the Smoky Joe Pug because it's the one I've already got, and that is also a really nice shape. So the Pug design and the pannier design sat next to each other would be an interesting, like a very different duo. But yeah, I think that's I've got a four-wheel tank engine and a six-wheel tank engine. That's like a nice pairing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to cheat that answer a little bit and say basically what I've already got. In terms of new ones to build, I couldn't really say because it's only in recent times where I've been more turned on to the idea of building a pannier tank in the first place. But yeah, in time there will be more tank engines on the way. That would be good to build a couple more. Hey Luke, are you gonna make Boko? You've got to have everyone's favorite Metrovic. Metrovic? Okay. Well, Boko could be put onto the endless list of models to make. I mean, again, there's so many characters I will end up making in the future. Tell you what, let me. Oh, not that one. I need to. Let me move Annie and Clarabelle up there. Oh, right. Boko. Sure. Let's scroll up the chat. What else was there? Neville, Molly, Rosie. Oh, I forgot to. Neville, Molly, Rosie, and Ryan. That was the other one. Some more engines I would like to make eventually. So Daisy, Fergus, Arthur, Stanley, Harvey, Mavis, Boko, Neville, Molly, Rosie, and Ryan. More Thomas characters I would eventually in time like to build. There we go. Oh, come on. Oh, ruddy old thing. Anyway. Have you done a push me, pull you? What on earth is a push me, pull you? So I think that by default answers your question. A push me, pull you? What do you mean by that? Oh, that's the video game. That's something very different. That was such a funny game, though. I request elaboration, as Vision once said. What happened to your Lego narrow gauge track and locomotives? My narrow gauge stuff is in a box still. It's in the same box the same box style that I use to store my layouts. But in that particular box is my narrow gauge stuff and the Hogwarts Express set as well, the UCS one. So it's something that I haven't touched since Members Weekend, but when in the next month or so, when space becomes available for layout version 3 to be started on, that's when I'm going to have a look at making a raised narrow gauge track segment so I can introduce narrow gauge properly on my layout. And that is kind of when I'm next going to do anything with narrow gauge. So for now, it's all they are safe and looked after. They're just in a box tucked away. That's all it really is. I don't really have anything to do with them because, again, stuff I've done with narrow gauge, it has been very on and off. And at this point, there's, well, even again, like I said, since Members Weekend, that was the last time I really got them out. But in terms of proper layout stuff, I've done 2 versions of a home layout to incorporate narrow gauge track. Actually, no. I don't know if narrow gauge track was included for the first home layout. I don't think it really matters. But basically, yeah, my point is basically I don't really have a lot to do with the narrow gauge stuff in the first place. But when version 3 of the layout comes along, it will be, which is excellent. Ah, double fairly, that's what you mean. I actually, you know what? Yes, I have. And I think the video has been set to private. Let me check. This is another thing to check. Oh, no, not... yeah, may as well do that. So I did make a double Farley engine in the past, narrow gauge track model specifically. It was built with blue parts, and for a while I called it a version of Blue Guardian because back then I was quite mad. But do I have... Actually, let me go into here. Blue Guardian. Because I think it was... did I call it Blue Guardian? Profile on there. That thing. Oh, I suppose I changed the name. Okay, let me try narrow gauge because again I can't remember. I think I've set the video to private. Narrow gauge. If I've kept it public, then I'll post it in the chat. Modified narrow gauge locomotives. Which one you got turned into a narrow gauge speed? Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, it's still public. Okay, that's good. So yes, I have still got the video of my push me pull you engine. It's, oh god, look at it. Looks cool, but at the same time it's like that's what I built. Okay, copy and paste. So that's the video. It is still a thing on my channel, thank god. And yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that model looking back at it. It would be nice to try that again in the future, because for what I was able to accomplish with the kind of design methods I chose, like adopting 6 wide for narrow gauge. So yeah, it definitely seems like it works. So I just got another notification on the tablet. Right, I don't need that. I can get rid of that's the Discord. And back here. I would like to see US 464 on your narrow gauge layout. There's so many models that... oh, I read it just in time. US 46, right, too late. We're right. US 464 locomotive. 152. You don't need to worry. If you make a mistake, you can just add another comment afterwards. First of all, that is a Dreyfus Hudson and the Blue Goose. That is not narrow gauge. What are we looking at? Okay. Is that narrow gauge? Yeah, that looks like it. I think so. US, or it's 152 anyway, so let's get rid of that. US 152 narrow gauge locomotive. What does it look like? Okay. I'll tell you what, that does remind me of something else, something very stupid, and frankly, this is what I'm more likely to do. So, I am very curious about building an all-new layout with narrow gauge track. So it's all Lego still, but it's... yeah. So the idea is I want to build a standard gauge train, but to the scale that fits narrow gauge track. So the idea is I can have Lego trains to play with and have a layout here in the room, but because it's a smaller gauge, I've got a lot more to play with. But so that in turn would mean powering it would probably be hell. But at the same time, it would be very interesting to give that a try. I really wonder what that would be like. So yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about that in a long while, but it is a thought that I think would be pretty cool. You've been looking at Tricks, Bricks, Narrow Gauge track, haven't you? No, I haven't done anything narrow gauge for a long time. But I do remember this idea and thoughts of having a Lego train layout, like a standard gauge sort of thing, but just with narrow gauge track. Because it's a smaller gauge, technically I can, or at least potentially, fit more in. So I can have my long ass express going around and have a layout set up, and there's less potential for me to trample all over everything. So it is interesting. I mean, there's definitely, again, potential for that to happen. But if layout V3 doesn't have the elevated track go as well as I hope it does, I think, well, because the elevated track will use narrow gauge track. So I think at that point, if that doesn't work, I'll experiment a little bit with a narrow gauge express sort of thing. I don't think I'll do the Coronation Scott this time. I'll keep that as is. Let's try something a bit different. We'll see what happens. There's loads of time in the future. I'm currently taking apart the sailboat set thing so I can see if I have all the parts. Very cool. It would pretty much be narrow gauge US locomotives. Yeah, and that sounds like a cool idea. Yes, it does. It's something that, again, I can't remember when I first thought of this, but the thought is still there. You described Rio Grande. Big engines, tiny track. I did see that on Google Images when I searched it a moment ago. So that's pretty good. Have I got... Nope. Sorry, I need... hang on. And... No, well, oh, there we go. Getting rid of the notification. Any schedule for the next BRB podcast? No, So there's two things with that, and I'm actually quite glad you asked. So first of all, I haven't been as consistent with asking people to be a guest on the show as much as I thought I would be. But it's also taking into effect there's loads of things I'm still doing in the day, trying to organize a recording time with whoever my guest is. If I say to them, do you want to be a guest on the podcast, they could say yes, and it'd be really exciting, but they won't be free for it for the next couple of weeks. So that's going to be a bit of a bummer. So there's all that time between episodes where anything can really happen. I will ask around a couple of people again and see if I can get something sorted. It would be good to try and get a list of people ready, because I would like to have a bunch of episodes set up back to back, ready to go. Even if I get, let's say, 4 episodes recorded back to back, and after all that's done, by the time the 4th episode is recorded, that first episode has been edited and is now released. So I've got enough to keep going and potentially get those podcasts going at a more consistent rate. However, this is the exciting bit. So the whole idea of the BRB podcast came from something I pushed for with the LUKR. So the LUKR, to anybody who's been living under a rock, is the Lego Train Club I'm in. I am wearing their jumper after all. I know it says something different, but it's the same club, I promise. So the podcast I did is an interview style podcast, but this all stems from the original idea from the club of doing member interviews. And because I was able to push it and do the experiments with the BRB podcast, I'm hosting the interview series. And I have edited the first episode earlier today. I need to export it, send the clip off to someone else in the club to potentially get that work. Like, it might not even happen. This is the thing. There are, what I can do with my own channel is one thing, but because this is something happening with the club, it could be forever until it meets the appropriate professional standards. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but this isn't exactly a secretive thing idea either. So yeah, there is potential for something new to come out, but the reason why I haven't been focusing on my podcast is because I've been focusing on another. Seth Bricks, hello, good to see you. Seth, I tell you what, you've shown up at the perfect time. We're talking about podcasts. Have you done your recordings and sent them and done whatever else with them that I asked forever ago? It would be good to do an episode with you, but I think the way we organized it still, just to I send you the questions and we go from there, is the best way for it. But recording's done. Also, just waiting for the chat to catch up. Okay, here we go. Come on, Seth, what you got? Too big to send. We'll send the clips like one at a time. I would rather, like, if it takes like 20 emails or something. So we need to cut them down. Okay, yep, fair enough. I mean, do it in whatever way works. Try not to remove or cut a few things if it's something that you like. Again, like I said a moment ago, if it takes 20 or like a dozen emails for you to send it all across, I'd rather you did that. It's fine. And you're back from getting cookies. I had Jaffa cakes, but it seems like I've eaten them all. Yeah, the box is... Oh, damn it, my Jaffa cake box is empty. Oh, I'll have to buy some more soon enough. So yeah, what I'll do then after the stream this evening is done, I'll poke around a couple of Discord servers and try and see who else is available for recording. I actually right, let me get that note down now. Actually, BOE pocket. Let me just do that. Sure. Notes to others for UPs. Okay, we'll just leave that there. And Kumata, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. I tell you what, we were just talking about the BRB podcast, and I know in the Lego Thomas server that you showed interest in potentially doing an episode. If you're still up for it, let me know. We could try and sort something out, because it would be nice. It would be very nice to do an episode with you. Primarily because we both do Lego Thomas stuff, but also I've met you in person, so that's even cooler. Oh, I need to sort my feet out. What is next on the list? Okay, seeing as I keep clicking onto this ruddy thing. Earlier today, I uploaded my latest video, which is the, what do they call it? It was the twin articulated coach video, the bar and dance floor. Oh, there we go, it's loaded. Custom twin articulated mock showcase coaches. And here's Glasgow Brick Subway. Hello. Hello, Miller. Yeah, the disco bar coaches. So, I completely forgot what I was talking about because chats diverted my attention. Don't tell anyone, but I am working on taking photos of backlog of new models. It'd be nice to wait and do an interview after I start posting new stuff again. Yep, sure thing. In your own time. And it's a bit weird for you to say don't tell anyone because it's in the chat. That's all right. The liquor carriage. Yes, it's basically that. So the idea, if you haven't seen the episode yet, or the video, I should say, it's 127 years young. Of course you are. How old are those stuffed animals you got? Those stuffed crocodiles. What did you name them again? Senior Snaps, something like that. Anyway, so if you haven't seen the video uploaded earlier today with the twin articulated coaches, the idea of them came from something called the Rexall $1 Million Train. I remember seeing a video on it of the train on YouTube, and that's where the main inspiration came from. The train looked really cool. The inside of the coaches looked really cool. It was Senior Snap. What was it called? You got two of them as well. They have names. I know you've given them names. I don't remember what they're actually called. Anyway, so the idea of the Rexall $1 Million Train was a sort of showcase for the Rexall Drug Company on wheels. and it was really cool. And one of the coaches was just like a long, this long ass American coaches. One of them was just empty and it had a bunch of seats in them. So during the day, it would be like a lecture hall, but at night, especially when the train was on the move to its next stop, it was a little dance hall. And there's actual footage of that in the video, and it was just the coolest thing. So yeah. What? Okay. Are you okay there? Did you lean on the keyboard? Triton and Saint Cadfan. Admiral snaps. Lieutenant, you're British. Lieutenant. Lieutenant Mandible. And Rear Admiral Nibble. You got a third one? Must have missed it. Right, if it's Welsh, let's find out what that translates to. I like how I had that saved as well. That doesn't actually translate to anything. I'll tell you what, let me... We trek. To Saint Cadvan. Okay. Translate is not the best thing ever. Oh, it's from Tallyclin. They are the name of a pair of Baguli diesels on Tallyclin Railway. Yeah, I still haven't been. In time, I do want to visit that railway because it's the best. It might take another year, like a couple more Audrey extravaganzas before I'm able to. Well, maybe even this year, because if things go well, I should be driving by February, or maybe by March, depending on how expensive cars are. Yeah, the newest is a baby one. That's only 6 inches tall. The others are 11 inches tall. That sounds kind of sad when you put it like that. It's a baby. Oh no. That's all right. Okay. Don't need that tab anymore. So yeah, that's a nice little segue into the next thing to talk about, I suppose. I am hopefully on the way to being able to actually drive soon. My driving test is coming up very soon at the beginning of February, and it will be good if I actually pass my test. So I had a lesson earlier today, trying to just get used to certain roundabouts. And when it comes to actually driving, you need to get in. There really is a strong issue of being in the right lane, at least with a roundabout, with what I did today. Driving a manual car, by the way. So being in the right lane to go, on which exit. And the frustrating thing is, there are some roundabouts where you need to be in the middle lane to go one way, but sometimes with other roundabouts you need to be in the right lane. There's one roundabout near me there where there's a complete cut through the middle. So if you want to go around, you have to go left and then you go around that way. It's just, what in the bloody Nora? Yeah, I think the maneuvers I'm actually pretty much spot on with, but depending on what route I take and if I remember things correctly during my test, I think the roundabouts are what's going to screw me over the most. Yeah. Unfortunately, I live in the US and I'm broke, so I'm not going to Tallyclin. Well, one day, give it a few more years. Fun fact, here in the US, we think roundabouts are European witchcraft. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you think that's bad. Today, I was reminded of something called a double mini roundabout. That's a thing that exists. I don't know if it's something that exists outside of the UK, but there are double mini roundabouts that exist, and it's the dumbest sodding thing ever. So yeah, you sent me something. Oh no. So I've been sent something on Discord, everyone. Very good, Miller. Very good. Well done. Why is there a cross next to your... What? Why is there a cross next to your name? I've not seen that before. Okay, that's new. I failed my test on a roundabout. Oh no. Yeah, that's something to really be worried about. UK is the country I know of that go wacky with their roundabouts. Supposedly, Sweden had a set of 5 mini roundabouts some years back, changed now, but it was a puzzle to navigate. You know what? That's actually still there, I think, because we went to Swindon in December, and I remember going to like we were trying to drive somewhere, and we got to the point where we realized, okay, well, at least my dad, because he was driving at the time, that there was the series of 5 roundabouts kind of in like a pentagon. So yeah, they are actually still there. Maybe not as bad as it was back then to what you're referring to, but there is a series of 5 roundabouts all in the same space that's still there. So, oh, good lord. It is, but trust me, but it's a lot. Oh, I see. Okay, it's a lot simpler. So adding things like traffic lights. Okay, fair enough. And one down, 3 of the big 4 to go. What with this picture? So you've angered LNER and LMS fan base. Well, you pretty much angered the Great Western by saying all their engines are the same. So it's just the southern lot to go. I mean, you're pretty much there. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, the Magic Roundabout in Swindon. Oh yeah, that is what it's called. It has a ring junction constructed in 1972, consisting of 5 mini roundabouts arranged in a circle. Yeah, it's stupid. It's a good thing my test isn't happening anywhere near Swindon then. All Great Western engines are the same, I suppose. I mean, they are similar. I mean, this is something I can't remember what video I learned this from, but the reason why they're also samey is because if something happens or goes wrong with one engine, they have easy to make and even replaceable parts straight away from another engine or from like a shed or something, or at least back in the day when steam was still operating. So you could literally take off the boiler, for example, of one engine and take the boiler of something spare or something else from a different engine, and basically kind of just swap them over depending on what engine was needed in the service. So in a way, that actually makes a lot of sense. They're also samey because all the parts are supposedly really interchangeable. That's actually quite cool. But I did say earlier in the stream, I am thinking about making my own 5700 pannier tank for my railway. So Great Western all the way, I suppose. I mean, I am Great Western in a way, given where I'm based. They will look different if they paint them different shades of green. Well, just not BR green, because that's boring. It's funny what an Aussie can teach a Brit about his own country. Well, yeah, I mean, you can teach a lot of people a lot of stuff about their own country, which is just weird. But then again, it's weird. Oh well, I say that, but the idea, well, not the idea, but we've got in our Lego Trading Club, for example, we do have a couple of international members, so it's kind of. I think I said this in a previous podcast episode or something, or I know I've said this somewhere, but it's cool or at least interesting how there are people from one country who take so much more fascination from something in a different country, and that's not unique to just Lego train stuff or railways, I should say, but that's something that you could be fascinated with something entirely. I think the biggest example is anime coming from Japan. Like everyone is so like, never mind Western shows, are people who are just solely obsessed with anime, for example. And when it comes to railways, there's a lot of people who will build British stuff, but be based somewhere in Europe, somewhere in America, and that's its own really cool thing. Make a pannier in your TLR livery. Yes, I will be. It will be red with yellow lining. I don't know how I'm going to do the yellow lining because it's not going to be like the streamlined yellow lines going along horizontally like on the streamlined engines. That's just for them. The yellow lining might be, you know how Lego Railway Series on Discord does double lining for his Thomas trains. It's basically I'm gonna try that. I don't know how well that's gonna work, but I do want to try double lining for a model somehow. I don't know if I could really go back to previous models and basically reattempt it. I don't think I've got the lining tape to spare in the first place. But I think because I'm making a new model, that would be something that's, you know, it'd be cool to give it a try, if anything. So yeah, it's worth a go, definitely. It definitely cements my own railway livery, so to say. It's just a shame they're boring steam engines and above ground. Yeah, I mean, steam engines aren't going to be the most effective if they're underground now, will they? Teach an old dog new tricks. I found a magic roundabout very intriguing 10 years ago. I don't think it'll be intriguing to anyone. Like, not today. Like, well, it'd be interesting to know that it exists. But if you have to go that way and go around it, that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Let me remind, I'll tell you what. Swindon Magic Roundabout. Let me just remind myself what this horrible thing looks like. There it is. A magic roundabout. Look at that road sign. Bloody awful. I wonder if Top Gear ever did an episode where they mentioned this, at least. Look at that. That's just 5 roundabouts. What even is that? Jesus, Nora. Yeah, that's what I went round last month. What's worse, that or the Arc de Triomphe? Because I think that, well, if I'm getting it correct, Arc, am I even? Oh my god, I even spelt it correctly. That's cool. Oh, nearly. But isn't the Arc de Triomphe supposedly a really hell roundabout as well? I don't know. Because it's surrounded by French drivers. Yeah, that's pretty much why. Japan has a lot of railway enthusiasts and Anglophiles, apparently. Therefore, a lot of interest in UK railways from there. I think that also explains why Thomas was originally so successful when it was first sent to, or exported, I should say, to Japan. Because, you know, British railways, and supposedly if Japan loves British stuff, and railways in particular, that's like a winning formula. It's just a circular road with lots of roundabouts. Yeah, I've just seen the picture. It's not horrible. The Top Gear episode with a stupid road sign. Which Top Gear episode with the stupid road sign? Because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of them. Magic roundabouts aren't chaos. They're reasonably orderly. Are you mad, homeboy? You thinking and seeing the same roundabout we are? It said warning squirrels, but the sign had a picture of it. Oh, that one. Here's your usual reminder to like the stream. Thank you, Duck. It was Swindon's way of filling in the potholes. That's the worst thing. Well, that's the worst thing they could have done. Oh, quite orderly compared to the Arc de Triomphe. Yeah, fair enough. Literally, the Arc de Triomphe, it's just the arc in the center, and it's just round road. Never mind about roundabouts or any kind of orderly system. It's just, you know, it's just there. Good luck. Mm-hmm. Right, time for a drink, I think. Oh. Just found a video of someone running a big boy on R40s. I think that's the video I saw recently as well. First of all, Sam, hello, welcome to the stream. Secondly, is it the big boy that is on Lego Ideas? Because if it is that one, then yes, I've seen the video and it actually does run on R40s, which is quite insane. No one is looking where they are going because they're too big to look at that thing in the middle. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the structure looks nice, but... Oh, what missed? Okay. Mr. Triton, first of all, don't ever say that again. Okay, so Mr. Triton sent one of his long boy locos around some R40s at the member weekend. Yeah, so Mr. Glasgow Brick Subway over here dared me to go get one of my giants and use that engine for a speed challenge that we had set up. And there were a couple of sort of wobbly S curves. I don't know if it was maybe it was R40s. I don't know what the radius of those curves were, but it was like three little snaky bits. Sorry, pardon me. Going like in there, you got straight track, snake bit, straight track, and then you go around the corner, and it's the same thing on the other side. Please, Mr. Glasgow Brick Subway is my father. Call me GBS. How about I call you Mr. Glasgow Live? There we go. That's a bit more. That's more your speed. Anyway, so for this speed challenge, sadly the video that we had recorded for it has been lost, so you won't be able to see it. But it was glorious because of my I used my giant, which has a lot of articulation in it. So that and two powered coaches sent that round the track. It got to Miller. So it got to the S curve bit, and you could just see the whole thing. It wasn't snaking like that. It was so you got the giant's boiler, the tender, and the two coaches. You got like four sort of long units, and it as it goes through the S curve, it just goes like that. It doesn't actually turn; it's just sideways wobbling. But it was, it was actually a really like it got to the obviously you start the start line, first corner straight, and then into the S curve. Once it went through the S curve, I slowed down. Maybe I slowed the engine down a little bit, but given the nature of the model, there was that sort of whoa, that sort of natural shock, close, cool reaction from everybody watching. And it was, yeah, it did really well considering what it was. But it didn't win, but it definitely put in a good performance. I probably could have sped it up a little bit, but I think it would have derailed at that point. Not bad for what it was. Could make for an interesting display like the cancelled Ninjago Snake Train. I was talking about that last night. So I was hosting a casual chat with club members last night, and we were talking about train stuff because, of course we were. I don't remember what got to. Oh yeah, I remember. So okay, here's how we got to this. So first of all, in the Discord server, I have linked a video of a drifting Lego train. Just go in Discord. Where is it to? Is it in the links? Is it that one? Oh, yes. Okay. So if you go into my Discord server, go to the links and self promo tab, scroll up just a little bit, and you'll see a Discord, a Flickr link that I have made. So someone made a Lego train that drifts, and it's so it's just really cool. And then we were talking about other goofy train things, and I brought up the Ninjago snake train that got cancelled. Yeah. And I do like the idea of potentially giving that a go because, obviously, first of all, I am a fan of Ninjago. Secondly, it is a train set. And thirdly, it's very unique. It would be very cool to see a snake or just something a bit more whimsical, something unprototypical on a layout. And I think that's probably the direction I'm going to go this year. I've got what I've got. I've built it over the past number of years. That's cool. But I would love to make something like a snake on wheels, basically. That would be a lot more fun to see go around a layout. So, yeah. Has anyone ever built an actual snake that runs on Lego track, just following a bunch of S curves? There's always the potential somebody has made it and just hasn't put it online. But I would love to be the person to replicate that Ninjago snake train and particularly give that a go. That'd be really funky. And I think what I would do is do what I've done with the Giants in the sense that there are two pivot points, not have the drive unit fixed to the main body. I can feel a sneeze coming on. Hopefully it's not going to be too crazy. Anyway. So yeah, I like the idea of having two pivot points because that's how my giant was able to successfully get over those S curves. So instead of it being one thing that's going like that, because eventually that's going to cause it to lose weight, like the weight will shift too much, lose balance, and then tip over. Having those two pivot points could mean it can basically snake over those S curves much more efficiently. So that's definitely something I'll have to take into account. But it's definitely possible, and ideas are there. I'm going to give it a go. We are very close to the end of the stream as well, so I do need to hurry things on. But yeah, Ninjago Snake Train. I think I'll have to put that on the to build list. Would be pretty good. Luke, did you see those new Ninjago sets coming out? The new wave of core sets, yes. So Cole, Zane, and Nia got dragons, and I will be getting those, but not straight away. I am going to wait for Athol Day before I do anything with that. Again, trying to save money. If I can, wait 2 more months, wait for discount day, I'll go then. That'd be good. Make an actual kettle as a steam engine. That's a very funny thing to do as well. That would be like the new face of the club. An actual kettle on wheels, basically. Very good. And yes, the shark idea. So I've actually got that here. So one of our members, Will, who runs Block Junction, probably has one of these still. And because the head, the body, and the tail units, well, they are separate units basically. You build them up individually and kind of snap them together with hinge bricks. It's possible to, if anything, put it on wheels. But if you want to go further and power it and try and make it its own train, it's definitely possible, but not quite what I would do. It's 3 wagons, said T, C, and S on them. Is that what you mean with the kettle? So that's like tea, coffee, and sugar? Like the 3 wagons? The kettle locomotive could be the next contraption. Oh my god, the contraption series. Yeah, that's a thing I did. But I like the idea of just making a Lego kettle, like a little structure sort of thing, statue sort of thing. Making the spouts, that's what it's called. Now think of the teapot song, that's called a spout, but have that bend upwards into a funnel and just have wheels on the bottom. That's it. Oh my god, I need to make that now. That's going to be the dumbest thing I've ever built, but it would absolutely get attention. Okay. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 9 o'clock. It has been 1 hour. I'm afraid I must now end the stream. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. This has been a very amusing stream. Nice to chat with everyone once again. So before we go, the next live stream will be on the 22nd because January 22nd last year was when I did my very first live stream. So I'm going to be doing a live stream on January 2nd, which is next Sunday. Thankfully, it's a Sunday, so I can actually do a stream then. I think I'll probably still do it in the during the day anyways. But that will basically be the 1 year anniversary of live streams, which is really cool and exciting because I've been doing this for a whole year now. So in the span of a year, I have done 38 live streams out of 52 weeks. So I've basically missed 14 weeks, but that's not bad at all. That is really, really good. And I am amazed that, these are still going. The consistency of these streams has kind of changed, but the consistency of doing these streams has been there altogether. Sometimes they'll happen during the day, sometimes there'll be a couple of weeks between episodes, or streams, I should say. But it's still been going, and I think that's just absolutely incredible. But because there are people tuning in and are coming into the chat to say hello, ask me questions, and to keep conversations going, I think that's why I've kept doing this, because obviously if you're doing a live stream and you've got no audience, it's very demotivating to want to continue. But I've had so much motivation. Literally, there are times where I go, oh, next live stream is going to be coming in a couple of days. And it's really something I look forward to. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and doing this with me, because it's so much fun. It really is. So Sunday, 22nd, that will be the 1 year anniversary stream. I might, I don't know what I'm going to do for that, to be honest. I would like to try and make it a proper Q&A stream. Probably start a little bit earlier in the evening if time permits, maybe a little bit later. Have things to figure out. I'll probably get that sorted by Sunday, and I will let you know in the Discord server, and even on YouTube. I'll make a community post as well to let you know what will be happening for that live stream. So it will be a lot of fun. So, as always, thank you all ever so much for watching. All of the special links for Discord, Instagram, and Flickr are in the description. The next video I will be posting will be coming out in a couple of days. It will be another Nerf Blaster review. Earlier today, I uploaded a video of... sorry, let's get rid of that thing. Earlier today, I uploaded a video of my latest LEGO creation, which is the twin articulated passenger coaches. Make sure you give that a watch if you haven't already. And that is pretty much everything. So thanks again to everybody who has tuned in for the stream. And I shall see you all in the next episode. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.